Welcome back in to another episode of the Spaceman 2.0 Phoenix Truth Rising Show, here to help you grow in the knowledge and wisdom of truth, and the truth will set you free. With the best history lesson and spiritual insights on the planet, exposure of the Illuminati's plan of world conquest and control is the death knell to the New World Order. Hopefully this doesn't get dinged, copyrighted, but even the music is pretty good. With this commercial, it's quite funny, a little comedic relief, we all need it. These commercials are getting more entertaining sometimes, just with the ingenuity of humor. Watch this.
You forget the rest when you bring out the best.
Oh man. So with that being said, so you forget the rest when you bring out the best, or something like that. Humorous and funny, and that's what we need in this definitely today's age, with what's going on in the Middle East and Iran. False flag terror attacks. They're probably going to blow up a U.S. ship going over there, carrier. The U.S. Liberty was blown up by Israel back in the day. Look it up. They said it was someone else that did it. They always use false flag terrors to start wars. And that's what they're doing with Iran. They bombed Syria, bombed Lebanon. Now they're bombing Iran. Can anyone see who's the culprit? Yet, we're all afraid that Iran's keeping us from having peace today. So in today's episode, we're going to continue on with Mark of the Beast. We're going to go into the United States Code, the Public Health and Welfare Code, and all that, and the Social Security number, how that can reflect on. Also some more gematria. And if we can get into even the real term bastard, you're going to easily understand what this truly meant. And it doesn't just mean out of wedlock by Webster's definition. If you look at another definition, it will just blow you away in how it relates back to the Bible. Okay? And we'll get into, hopefully, the mystery religion and blood oaths by Masonic doctrines, but that may have to come up in the next episode. Divine Plan, Volume 2, continuing on with Chapter 11, recording number 2, HATONN, Friday, October 23rd, 1992, 9:48 a.m., Year 6, Day 68. Mark of the Beast, continued. HATONN, readers, please be gracious as you read this reprint, for it is most difficult to retype. It seems to come from one of the name of Irving Stein, but as we go along, it appears to be that even that name is misspelled, as are 2/3 of all words. It becomes evident that the material is taken from a recording of a presentation or two and mixed. The fingerprints of one Howard Freeman are all over the document, so we also honor him for his great contributions to you, the people. So remember, if you stand further, see further than others, it's because you stand on the shoulders of giants, like Isaac Newton said. So Howard Freeman and Irving Stein went into making this. Even God's gracious souls will be reincarnated through some of these people so that they can free the truth into the humanity's consciousness. So never limit God what he can do. Be kind to Dharma, however, as you read along, because she is having great difficulty deciphering correct presentation. She is experiencing a new task of presentation, as she is totally accustomed to my redoing and sorting all presentations for her. I chose to cause her to have to mentally attend the information in point, and it slows us tremendously. Bear with us, editors, for I realize it is a double load for all of you, as you have to check each word for, if nothing else, accuracy and spelling. It allows also for discernment on the part of readers. Thank you. Remember, discernment is number one lesson we're supposed to learn. Quoting, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Revelation 13:1. We went into this in the last couple episodes, and how it can mean the deciphering of the 7 states and the 10 regions. This vision describes the federal system, beast, which has dominated the once sovereign United States of America. The 7 heads of this system are District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Guam, Virgin Islands, American Samoa, Northern Mariana Islands, Pacific Islands. These entities are termed states. To verify this, let us go to the United States Code for the definition of state. Title 42 United States Code, the Public Health and Welfare. Chapter 7, Social Security. Subchapter 11, General Provisions. Section 1301. A. When used in this chapter, 1. The term state, except where otherwise provided, includes the District of Columbia and the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. And when used in subchapters 4, 5, 7, and 11, and 19, I believe, of this chapter includes the Virgin Islands and Guam. Such term, when used in subchapters 3, 9, and 12 of this chapter, also includes the Virgin Islands. Such term, when used in subchapter 5 and in part B of this subchapter of this chapter, also includes American Samoa, the Northern Mariana Islands, and American Samoa in part. 2. The term United States, when used in a geographical sense, means except when otherwise provided, the states. Interesting how they're using these words. Section 170.60, inclusive language. Words in the plural form shall include the singular and vice versa, and words in the masculine gender shall include the feminine, as well as trusts, estates, partnerships, associations, companies, and corporations. Code of Federal Regulations, Title 26, revised January 1, 1961. When the states, such as Puerto Rico, Guam, etc., are joined together, they are called the United States, not the United States of America, meaning the federal United States, since these states are owned by the federal government. See how they get you? So United States, you just learned, means those 7 states, not all of the 13 and then the original 13 and then the 50. Congress can write any law for these possessions, and the laws passed do not have to be written pursuant to the Bill of Rights. Interesting. Therefore, Congress, acting in behalf of the federal United States, can pass any statute they please upon the citizens and residents of these United States. If you happen to reside in one of these entities, including the 10 federal regions, remember, enclaves and territories are part of the District of Columbia. If you happen to reside in one of these entities, including the 10 federal regions established by President Nixon, then you become subject to direct rule by Congress. So you see how they get you? Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the Constitution gave Congress the exclusive rule of legislation over the District of Columbia and the possessions owned and or created by the District of Columbia, also known as the United States. If a person merely admits that he lives in one of these federal subdivisions, enclaves, but for example, by using the 2-letter state abbreviation and the federal zip code, then the person is subject to exclusive legislative jurisdiction as being a resident of the District of Columbia. If you don't claim to be a citizen of the United States of America, then it will be assumed that you are a citizen and or resident of the other United States. Now, this happened in Canada. I went already over this, how they changed our abbreviations for each province to just 2-letter capitals instead of a capital for Ontario, O, and then a small letter N and a T and a period. This is how it should be. Just we went over this in the last episode, like California is CALIF even. America is now, 1990, the federal United States, due to, in part, by the created citizens and or foreigners who have been allowed to become U.S. citizens via the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. What Congress creates, Congress controls. If Congress creates citizens, they control them under the exclusive legislative power given by Article 1, Clause 17 of Section 8 in the Constitution. The same applies to federal regions. Today, people are unaware that they are living under this rule. All federal subjects, people who are created citizens, federal employees, people working for federal created entities such as corporations, companies, including those persons drawing income from the federal government welfare, are required by law to have a social security number. SEC.6109 Identifying Numbers. A. Supplying of identifying numbers when required by regulations prescribed by the Secretary. D. Use of Social Security account number. The Social Security account number issued to an individual for purpose of Section 205C2A of the Social Security Act shall, except as shall otherwise be specified under regulations of the Secretary, be used as the identifying number for such individual for purposes of this title. Title 26 Internal Revenue Code, Employment, Chapter 24. Any person who works for a corporation which is created by the government cannot avoid having the Social Security number. This is a requirement. Revelation 13, 16, and 17. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save that he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. The Social Security system and the assigned number to each individual is the system in which to identify every person who has such a number. Today, 1990, the Social Security number 000000000 is used for virtually every aspect of business, bank accounts, credit cards, driver's license, etc. This number is assigned within a central computer in Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, known as SIMS, Service Information Management System, and referred to by government employees as the Beast. This gigantic computer system has everyone who has a Social Security number in the memory banks. This computer knows more about you and I than we do ourselves. All government agencies have access to SIMS and to your personal and business information. Let's now take the word computer and use the number chart. Remember, in Brussels, Belgium is a computer that has everyone's information from around the world. Everyone's birth certificate is a bonded slave. Actually, there's 3 numbers on that birth certificate. And I'll get into that another day. But Brussels, Belgium has a computer called the Beast. So what does computer come out to when we relay it in the denomination of 6 spaces? 666, the Beast. All people, both small and great, rich and poor, have been caused to receive a Social Security number in order to work and pay taxes to the government. So section 1301, 6109, 1, identifying numbers. A, in general. 1. Social Security numbers and employers' identification numbers. There are 2 types of taxpayer identifying numbers. Social Security numbers take the form 000000000, while employer identification numbers take the form of 00-1234567 zeros after that, or numbers. Social Security numbers identify individual persons and estates of descendants. Code of Federal Regulations, Title 26, Internal Revenue Service, 1985. So you see how they get you to be caught up in paying taxes because being part of the states and not the United States of America.